Today I'm going to show you some of the many different ways that you can use an electric incense heater. These are a great replacement for the traditional charcoal, give you a lot more control and also allows you to preserve your incense, make it last a lot longer. Now, you may not have an incense heater that's identical to this Golden Lotus heater that I have here, but regardless of the brand or the model, all incense heaters work pretty much the same way, so this information should apply to any incense heater that you might have. And then later on in the show, we're going to put an incense heater up head-to-head with the classic self-lighting charcoal. You'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. Now, the first thing that you'll notice about this Golden Lotus incense heater is the beautiful box that it comes in. You can see the little Mermaid Magical Arts logo right there in the middle. It's very heavy cardboard. It is cardboard, but it's very, very thick. And the side flap over here where it opens has got a magnetic catch on it. And if you so desired, here, let me show you. You can see that you can actually pull these straps out. There are two of them, and use this box as a carrying case. So very neat. But inside the box is what we really care about. So you'll see that Mermaid Arts has given us some nice instructions in English, which is very useful. She has also included for us some pieces of foil, and I'll show you here in a minute what we're going to do with those, but I'm going to set them aside for now. So the first important piece will be right here. This is a little dish. It looks a little bit like a pie tin or maybe a gold miner's dish. This is where your burning materials or your heated materials will actually go, is right in there. Next we have the actual incense heater itself. You can see that this is a really genuinely gorgeous piece. It's ceramic, it's black, with gold detail, very, very nice. And then here inside, we have this metal plate, which is on top of the heating element. The heating element sits right below this. You can see that there's a cord that comes out of the back and it's sealed. And then the bottom, there's some air holes for ventilation. And then there's a little mounting point, a little rubber stopper right there. And this nice long cord has a temperature adjustment on it, so that you can set it. It runs from 150 to 250 degrees. So this is the actual heater itself. Then there's one more large ceramic piece, and that is the base. This is what the heater sits on. And then the final piece of ceramic is the lid. You can see also done in the same beautiful black and gold. So these three pieces together, plus the little heating dish, make up the actual incense warmer. But we get a couple of extra items as well. A great pair of tongs, and you'll see later that these can be used for more than just the incense, but they're great for incense. And also a little spoon. For certain types of incense, the spoon is a great way, especially if you're using like powdered incense, a great way to move materials onto your heater. And then also available from Mermaid, beyond the little pieces of foil that we saw, I'll show you in a minute, also some of these little aluminum cups that you can also use to heat incense. And I'll show you that here in just a moment. But you can see you have this really pretty box that doubles as a carrying case. So that's nice. I personally don't carry my heater around a lot. So to assemble the unit, we start out with the base piece. You'll see that there's a big white ring here on one side. This is where the pottery breathes as they fire it. So you want that white ring to go down onto the table surface. And then next is the incense heater. Again, The white ring here, little rubber stopper so that it can't sit down too far, goes down towards the bottom. If you're going to use the dish, that would go in next. And then finally the lid. We'll probably want to use the lid because that does hold in heat, but it's an option as to whether or not you want to use this dish. This is a really nice heavy-duty dish, but you would never want to put any incense directly into the dish itself because you're going to use this over and over again for every different scent of incense that you burn. So this is where those little foil sheets come in handy. If you wish, you can take a little bit of this gold NASA aluminum space age foil stuff here, and you can simply press it in to the dish like so, and it's just like lining a cooking pan with aluminum foil. You can put your incense right on there. When you're done, you can just pull this foil out, and then the dish itself underneath stays clean. So that's one option that you have, but Mermaid gives you a second option, which are these little cups. You don't even need to use the dish at all. You can just put the little cup directly onto the heating element and then put your incense inside. So it's very neat, it's very contained. This is also a really good method if you want to use several different scents in a day, because you can swap them out and swap back and forth. No fuss, no muss, and then when the incense has run its course, it's in a disposable container. So you're ready to go. All right, so let's plug this sucker in and let it warm up for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and take a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the little aluminum dishes and I'm going to put that directly onto the heating plate inside, and then I'm going to use the tongs, and this is some absolutely beautiful frankincense, and we're going to place that directly on there. There we go. Now, obviously you can't smell this on video, but this is already releasing a really, really great scent. Now you can see that we have this in here. You can pick out the beautiful translucent frankincense right there. Now, since I've been heating this with the lid on, I took the lid off to put the frankincense in, but the lid is still pretty warm. So let me show you one of the other great things about the tools that were sent. Along with your heater come these great tongs. And obviously they're great the way that I just showed you a minute ago by dropping materials on there, but they have another terrific purpose. Watch this. So you take them, and I've got the little tips pointed up. Oops. And I'm going to slide them into two of these holes. So you can see here that I am holding the lid with the tongs so that when it's hot, this is an easy, safe way to move the lid around. So there you go. So we put the lid back on, and that's all there is to it. So here we are at about 2 minutes. You can see little wispy amounts of smoke are coming up off of the frankincense now. The smoke is very, very thin, and really it's only smoking because we have the temperature up so high. So here we are at the 5-minute mark on the incense heater. You can see that the frankincense has bubbled out quite a bit around the edges and is just starting to turn brown on the very outer edges and still smoking a little bit. Here we are at the 10-minute mark. Let's get the lid off and take a look. You can see that it has this little tiny frankincense here has pretty much stopped bubbling around the edges and has turned all brown. It's still releasing a little bit of scent. You can see there's still some smoke coming off of it, but a lot like stirring a campfire, if we take this guy and move it around to another spot and maybe move the piece of foil as well, you'll see that immediately he starts to bubble again and releases a whole new batch of scent. So we still have this one little tier of frankincense. It's giving off still a nice little bit of smoke. We can do just what we did before and simply move it somewhere else. Nice small stream of smoke coming up off of the frankincense. You can see that it's browned quite a bit from all the turning, but I'm going to turn it again. So I've been turning about every 5 minutes. And you wouldn't have to do this under normal circumstances because you would have a lot more than just one little piece of frankincense in there. We're just doing this to take a look and see how long one piece will last. It's still going after 25 minutes. Look at this. I did turn it once when the camera wasn't on. And keep looking for fresh spots to set it in. But still going strong. Still smoking nicely. Absolutely amazing. It still smells wonderful. And probably 50% of this tier still remains. Oh, let's take a look. I did break it in half a little while ago. So you can see that it is still melting and we can get a little more smoke out of it, but it's basically done. Probably everyone on Earth who has ever burned loose incense is familiar with this. This is a type of commonly available charcoal sold throughout the world. There are a number of different brands. While there might be some quality difference between bad and horrible with the different brands, functionally they're all the same. Which is just not good, but they come wrapped in different kinds of foil or mylar packages like this. This is a pretty typical example. Of course, like with all charcoal, it's messy. So let's see if we can't get one of these tablets out. Alright, so this is what we have. You can see it's got a bulge down here in the bottom, and then it's got a little bowl indentation here on the top. This is what is commonly referred to as self-lighting charcoal. Let's just give this a little light. And so I have allowed this horrible self-lighting charcoal tablet to sit for a few minutes. You can see it's kind of covered in a light gray ash, and it's glowing deeply. It is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is to take a frankincense tier. This one's a little bit bigger than the one that we used in the incense heater, and I'm just going to put it right on here, and let's watch. You'll also notice that this charcoal tablet is not in a censer filled with ash, which is what I always recommend. Instead, it is on a wire grate because I would not sully any of my ash with self-burning charcoal. But look at it. Look at how very quickly now all of the edges are starting to bubble, and we've been going a very short time, less than 30 seconds or so. Then 10 minutes, about 7 or 8 minutes, you can see that there's nothing left of that frankincense tier, completely burnt to ash. The smell is not pleasant. So that's less than 10 minutes versus 45 minutes out of the incense heater. You can use an incense heater like this for a lot more than just frankincense tiers or other whole forms of incense. Any type of incense that you would burn on charcoal, you can heat with an incense heater. The little spoon that we get that comes in this set is great. When I'm going to use powders inside the incense heater, rather than putting the little cup inside and then adding the powders, I prefer to add the powders to the cup outside, so if anything spills, it won't get down inside past this heating element, and very difficult to clean if you got it back in there. So I'm just going to take a little bit and put it straight into that cup. So this works great for wood. I have some loose incense down here as well, and when you want to change out scents, if this isn't done yet, if it's still got some life left in it, set it aside. You can use it again later. And there you go. It's as easy as that to swap them out. And then when you want a new scent, you swap them out again. One thing that probably seems pretty counterintuitive is that you can use an incense heater also for incense sticks and cones. So I've got an incense cone right here. If you want to heat it without releasing the tremendous amounts of smoke that you get from combustion, you can take this, and I've got a clean little metal dish, and I'm just going to drop it right in on its side. You could set it down on its base as if you were going to burn it in a normal censer, but the greater the contact with the heating element, the more scent you're going to get out of it, and if you only heated it from the bottom, you might never get the scent from the top parts. But that's a great way to use your incense cones or sticks without creating nearly as much smoke as they normally would. So I think now you can see some of the reasons why I really do prefer the incense heater over self-lighting charcoal. If you do want to continue to use charcoal rather than using a heater or even an aroma lamp, which will also work very much like a heater, please go out and find some good quality low scent incense charcoal, and really you want to avoid anything that's marked self-lighting. These charcoal tablets are loaded with potassium nitrate and a lot of other nasty things. They burn too hot, they smell terrible. So please find yourself some good incense charcoal, or go out and find yourself a good incense heater. This one's very reasonably priced. If you look around, I'll bet you find some others. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Natural incense connects mind, body, and spirit to the elements as nothing else can. Mermaid Arts offers natural incense, handcrafted in small batches by one of America's master incense makers. We also offer incense accessories, including electric heaters, sensors, charcoal, tools, and raw incense materials. Mermaid Arts, consciously crafted natural incense and fragrance since 1984.